Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There's been a lot going on in the last few days while a lot of chaos was going on. Guess what was going on behind your back? Guess what they taking our money and using it for? We're going to break all of this down, man. You just don't want to miss this one. You wouldn't believe what's been going on, man. Sounds like who knows? Maybe we need to bring back some system again, like Doge. I don't know, because a lot of stuff is going on, and they're taking our money to do it. All right. Yeah. People like well, I'm gonna save that and let you see what people we talking about and what's been really going on. All right. Yeah, a lot of misconduct going on, and Congress has blocked the reports. And you would be surprised who's on this list. All right, we're gonna break all this down, man. It's crazy. You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Let's get it.
You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So check it out. We're going to set it off like this real quick. I'm going to put this QR code on the screen. All right. Let me move this out the way real quick. Put this QR code on the screen, and you can scan this QR code. And what this QR code is a list of all the members, right? All the congressional members who voted on keeping sexual misconduct reports or a sexual misconduct report sealed. All right. There were only 65 who voted for transparency, who wanted everybody to be aware of what's going on. But there were 357 who did not want you to know about this sexual misconduct report. And they are a combination of Democrats and Republicans. Because remember what I said prior, that I'm not really trusting either one of them or feeling any one of them. And although the Democrats are letting you know how they feel about Black people, the Republicans might be a little bit quiet about that. And I mentioned that situation in Florida, the GOP, those Latinos, I think they had a group text. I said email the last time, but it might have been a group text where they were calling Black people the N-word in this group text. That's why you shouldn't be part of either one of them. You shouldn't be a Democrat or a Republican. You should go by strictly policies that fit the needs of you. Because this right here, what we're about to show, and I'm about to break down, man. I think you would start thinking about getting your money back. That's how I'm gonna put it. You need to get your money back. All right. So yeah, let me put it up this QR code. There you go. I wonder if I can move this over. Is there a way to change this on the other side? I guess it don't work like that. So real quick, just scan that QR code. All right. And I'll put it back up here a little bit later on. And there's also another QR code I want y'all to scan, but we'll get into that a little bit later. All right. So yeah, let me do something real quick. There you go. Get 10 seconds to scan that QR code. All right. One more. We're going to give you 10 more seconds. There you go. 10 more seconds to scan that QR code. And then we're going to get into it. All right. 2, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. There you go. So we're going to move that out off the screen. We'll bring that back later. And that's also if you want to follow with us, because I'm going to pull what's on that QR code. I'm going to pull it on the screen in a little bit. And we're just going to go down a little bit. I'm not going to go through everyone because, like I said, it's 357 those who voted yes. And then there's 65 of those who voted those who voted no, I think, was 357, and those who voted yes was 65. So what are we talking about today, man? Congress blocked misconduct reports. All right, who's on the list? Y'all really want to know who's on the list, huh? Okay. But first, let's get into this, man. Let's get into this, all right? So Congress votes to hide sexual misconduct reports. 357 members chose secrecy over accountability. All right. And if you guys want a copy of this right here, we'll put the QR code up in a little bit. You can scan that and purchase this report right here. All right. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into this right here. Let's get into this right here. All right. So again, excuse me, the Congress votes to hide sexual misconduct reports. All right. I believe this was on March the 4th. So yeah, 85% of Congress chose secrecy. 85%, that's 357, voted to conceal this report. All right. Only 65 voted to release this report. Okay. I want you to kind of marinate on that real quick. 85% of Congress chose secrecy. What are they wanting to hide? Who are they protecting? Right? Who are they protecting? Who are they trying to hide so y'all don't find out? And check this out. $17 million plus, over $17 million in taxpayer funded settlements. All right. Congress used your money, yours and mine, to settle sexual misconduct and harassment cases. I'm going to say that again because I want y'all to soak this in. Over $17 million in taxpayer funded settlements. Congress used your money to settle sexual misconduct and harassment cases. You paid the bill, but you are legally barred from knowing who was involved in these sexual misconduct and harassment cases. All right. Settlement payouts remain entirely hidden from the American public. All right. These are the things, instead of worrying about T.I. and 50 Cent and Damani, which my name is Damani as well. I had Damani before T.I.'s son had Damani, had the name Damani. So instead of worrying about all this celebrity garbage and rotting your mind, giving you mind rot, worrying about Damani got some bars on his song, which I listened to it. He's nice with his rhymes. Take after me. But yeah, everybody's worrying about it, focusing on that. Meanwhile, while you focused on all of that garbage, right? over 17 million of your taxpaying dollars is being used to settle sexual misconduct and harassment cases. All right. Again, Congress used your money to settle sexual misconduct and harassment cases. You paid the bill, but you are legally barred from knowing who was involved. It could be people like friends of people in Congress. It could be maybe Congress people themselves that are involved in these cases. But you paid the bill, but you are legally barred from knowing who was involved. Settlement payouts remain entirely hidden from the American public. What the withheld reports contain: specific sexual harassment allegations against sitting members. I'm going to read that one again. Specific sexual harassment allegations against sitting members. The granular details and evidence of internal misconduct cases. The exact settlement amounts paid out per individual case. Boom. You know, what's being withheld in this reports? The one of the things is the settlement amounts being paid out to per individual case. Okay, so they keeping that from us as well. The names of the accused lawmakers and their aides. Documented patterns of predatory behavior in Congress. Now, these people are supposed to be representing us. They do all this stuff, but if you and I do anything, however big or small, we catching cases with the quickness. Nobody's coming to our defense. Nobody's gonna speak up for us. We get instant justice put on us. But all these folks can do what they feel like doing, and it's kept quiet. Also, we get put on the news and things like that. We get exposed, but they get to vote to keep things hidden. This whole system that we are in needs to be ripped apart, and sometimes even move the people who are in this government system, get rid of them and put brand new people in and create a brand new system. Now, I always say I don't be caping for Trump, but I think his purpose for coming back, not to say that it's his in his mind, but he's also kind of tearing things apart, you know, stretching things, stretching his authorities, if you will, and people not doing a damn thing about it. While they keep trying to put everybody against him, oh, he's racist, he's this, he's that. And then you got the Democrats with their nonsense. You got the Republicans with their nonsense. Because, like I said, you got some racist Republicans, and it seems like it's starting to be a lot of them Latinos, so-called black and brown coalition that's being exposed. We've been telling you this. Like I said, a lot of black men and some black women been telling y'all this, black American men and women. But y'all wanted to play dumb and stupid and say we bots and we making the stuff up. But Jasmine Crockett found out there ain't no black and brown coalition. They don't woke up, up. Right? Or I should say they don't woke her ass up, right? Now I guess I wonder if she's still going to believe there's a black and brown coalition, right? Okay. So again, what is being withheld in those sexual misconduct reports? Specific sexual harassment allegations against sitting members. This is recently too. This is just about 4 days ago. All right. That this went down. The granular details and evidence of internal misconduct cases, the exact settlement amounts paid out per individual case, the names of the accused lawmakers and aides, documented patterns of predatory behavior in Congress. These are the people representing you. And I would say those who are in either party, these are who will represent you. I'm talking to the Black Americans right now. This is who's rocking for you and you rocking for them. All right. Keep on rocking with them. There were 65 who stood on transparency. All right. There were 65 of them. 38 Republicans and 27 Democrats voted to show this report, to release the information on this report. And I think this image of this lady here is Nancy Mace. I think she's a Republican, South Carolina. It was all led by her as far as transparency being shown. This bipartisan minority forced a floor vote demanding the release of all ethics committee reports on sexual misconduct. So I guess she was the one that kind of spearheaded it, and she was one of the people who voted to make this report be shown and be known, so all of us can know all the names that's on it. So we also can know the amounts that were getting paid out to people, right? Wouldn't you want some of that $17+ million? Wouldn't that be nice to have maybe a few millions or 100,000 out of some of that 17 million? Which is probably more than 17 million. Wouldn't that be nice for the average public folks to have? Why all of them got to be millionaires instantly? I'm just saying. All right. So again, 65 people stood on business this time around anyway. All right. And it consisted of 38 Republicans and 27 Democrats who voted yes for transparency. And here's the list of those who voted. All right. I'm going to try to say them fast. The Republicans, 38. It's two lists here, From letters A, for the last names from A to M, you have Barrett on the Republican side. Barrett, Bean, Bergman, Biggs, Boebert, Burchett, Burleson, Kamak, Comer, Crane, Crawford, Donalds, Downing, Fine, Gill, James, Keene, Langworthy, Luna, McKenzie, Massey, McClintock, McGuire, Miller, Mills, Moore, and another Moore. Right now on the Democratic side, you had Correa, Davis, Escobar, Golden. These are the last names of these folks. Gomez, Grijalva or Grijalva, Jayapal. That seemed like it might be an Indian name. Kana. Here's another, looks like might be an Indian name. Krishnamurthy, McBride, McGovern, and Flume, and Min. So here's the other part of that Republican list. The rest of it, of the 38, is Norman, Ogles, Perry. These are all last names, like I said. Roy, Schmidt, Schweikert, Sparts, Stefanik. And then on the Democrats, you got Mervyn, Neguse or Negus, Perez, Peterson, Pocan, Riley, Ryan, Salinas, Schreier, and Sorensen. All right. There you go with that. So those are the names of the 38 Republicans and the 27 Democrats who decided to stand on business and decided that they wanted this report to be revealed and wanted transparency for everybody can be aware of what's going on. All right. Now check out this list. Now, this ain't all the lists of the 357, but these are the high profile folks who decided that they wanted to keep this report, this sexual misconduct report and harassment cases report, hidden so y'all don't know, and so you don't know how much of your money went to these different people that they paid off. All right. And the names, the high profile names are Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries. I just talked about Hakeem Herman Monster Jeffries. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Ilhan Omar. Oh my. Rashida Tlaib. And oh wow, Ayanna Pressley. Imagine that. These are just some of the high profile names. So I'm going to also pull up here in a minute, and we'll give you the QR code again to scan it, just in case you just want to follow along. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of those names, but these were the high profile names. Again, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem the Herman Monster Jeffries, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, as y'all know, some of y'all call her, Ilhan Omar. All right, she already in some scandals as it is, and now she voted to keep this records concealed. Is some of her friends part of this list? She don't want everybody to know. Is that why she voted to keep this sexual misconduct report concealed? Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. Imagine that. Okay. A crisis of institutional accountability. All right. The double standard. Congress demands total transparency from private citizens, like I said earlier, or close to what I said earlier. Again, here's the double standard. The Congress demands total transparency from private citizens, but legislates secrecy for itself. Bipartisan protection. Both major parties abandoned their platforms to protect their own colleagues. This is both Republicans and Democrats. Demo-rats and redustikins. Colleagues over constituents. So they really ain't giving a damn about you, like I said before. I mentioned that in the previous podcast when we was talking about the freed, how Iran freed the Foundation of Black American Hostages in 1979. I think I mentioned somewhere in there, these folks don't give a damn about you, but you still vote for them. You still believe in the voting system. You think your voting is counting. And you let me know if the votes counted. Is it working for you? Is your life any better since you've been voting for 60 years plus for the same party people? Get funky, right? For the same party people. Colleagues, check this out. When you think about who you voting for, you better make sure you know what they standing for, what their policies are about. And I'm going to show you something again about this list. I'm going to show you some things that you can actually look up if you take the time sometimes to look this stuff up, right? You might get an idea of who these people are about. So it gives you an idea if you should be voting for these folks. I'm put you in on some game. All right. So again, colleagues over constituents. You are the constituents. The colleagues are their buddies. All right. So when it comes to these folks, it's colleagues over you. It's colleagues over constituents. 357 elected officials decided their co-workers' reputations were more important than your right to know. I'm going to say that one again. Colleagues over constituents. 357 elected officials decided their co-workers' reputations were more important than your right to know. Okay. The institutional cover-up at a glance. So here we go. At a glance. Here's the cover-up. I'm getting a little glance of the cover-up. 85% of Congress actively voted to keep misconduct records hidden. All right. 17 million plus of your tax dollars were spent settling secret claims. Wouldn't you want to have some of that $17 million in your pocket? Zero visibility into which specific lawmakers are involved in these sexual misconduct cases. Total unity between establishment Republicans and Democrats to protect themselves. Demand transparency from your representatives. And I was going to say before that, imagine that. You know, you out here struggling, you going through the stuff you going through, and they protecting themselves and their own colleagues. 17 million of those dollars could be nice in your pocket if you had 10,000 of the 17 million. If you had a couple of 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 150,000 of that 17 million. Wouldn't that be nice? Just to break you off with some of that? Man, could that be part of the reparations money? Ooh, wow, right? I think the screen jumped. Again, like I say, when you're talking about some real-ish, distortions start coming in. If you want to talk about T.I. and 50 Cent, this whole stream would stay super clear. Everything will run super smooth. But when you're talking about something real and you letting the people up on what's really going on, then all of a sudden a little tweak here, a little twitch there of the screen. Crazy, right? Anyway, that's the institutional cover-up at a glance, like a little overview, all right? Demand accountability. Contact your local representative's office immediately. Ask them directly, why did you vote to conceal sexual misconduct reports? Demand an end to taxpayer-funded secret settlements, because that money could go in your pocket, right? Or it can go to something else worthwhile. Share this breakdown to bypass political cover-up. Now, there's this QR code on that screen. That's not going to really do anything. That was just kind of part of the imagery of that, all right? But we're going to put you a QR code on the screen here in a minute, okay? Verify the record. House kills effort to release all congressional sexual misconduct and harassment reports. All right, that's NBC News. House bats down Mace effort to reveal sexual misconduct. That's that Nancy Mace lady. That's this lady right here. Right. She was the one that's supposed, she's a Republican that was leading the other 64 others to vote yes to show this report, to reveal this report. So y'all know where your money is going to, who's getting paid, and things like that. Right. All right, that was the Hill. Congressional sexual misconduct vote data package. Official roll call 83, motion to refer 119th Congress, Office of the Clerk, United States House of Representatives, clerk.house.gov. I'm going to show you that right now. All right. So let's get into that real quick. All right. So let's pull that up. Let me see. Can we pull this up here before? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think I got to remove this. And we should be able, there we go. So let me pull up this QR code. If you guys want to follow along, or this QR code that I'm pulling up is for what you guys see on the screen right now. All right. And you can scan that. There it is, the QR code again. You can scan that. And even if, if you're not watching this live, scan it. It should bring you to this site here, this page, and you can just go over all the people who voted yes and voted no and who didn't vote at all. But we're just going to go through a few things here because, like I said, it's way too long for me to try to, we'll be here for another 2-3 hours. All right. Let's just put it like that. So there's the QR code on the screen. I'm going to try to put this in the description, the link as well. And you can also get it from the link in the description. But right now, whether you're watching me live or you're watching the replay of this video, there's the QR code on the screen. You can scan that, or you can go in the description. Once this is over, I'm going to put the link in the description. So either way, you can pull up what you see on the screen right now. All right. Give you 10 seconds, 10 seconds more. Let's do it. 10 seconds more. All right. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into this right quick here. All right. Roll call 83. House, I think that's representative. I forget. 1100. And let's see here real quick. On the right, you have votes. 357 voted yay or yes to keep this sexual harassment misconduct report concealed, because it either involved some of them, maybe they were the culprits, or because some of their friends was in it. Their colleagues might be in this report, so they don't want y'all to know. They don't want you to know whether how much money they got from it or their colleagues got from it. All right. They don't want you to know none of that. And then, of course, there's the 65 that voted nay because they wanted to have this report revealed, and they wanted the public to know what was going on. Says present 1, and then not voting were 9 of them. Okay. And this whole thing here has the list of, I guess, everybody who voted. I'm going to see if I can find. Okay, there's one. Crenshaw. We're going to look that person up here in a second that was not voting on it. There's another one. Bonamici or Bonamici. I think that's an Italian name, maybe. Bonamici or Bonamici. There's another one. Bear. So we're going to look up some of these folks that didn't vote, that said not voting on it. So they wasn't saying nothing one way or the other. So it makes them suspect as well. They suspect to it as well. Let me see. All right. So before we get to those, we're going to I'll try to do all 9 that's non-voting. And we're going to also just pull up the high profile ones like Hakeem Jeffries and I think Jasmine Crockett was on there too. Nancy Pelosi, AOC. We're going to just tap in a few of those real fast. All right. And then I'm going to show you one other thing, and then we're going to get up out of here. All right. So there you go. Here's the list. Votes. 357 voted yay. 65 voted nay. Present 1, and not voting 9 of them. All right. March 4th, 2026, 2:33 p.m., the 119th Congress, second session. Vote question on motion to refer, directing the Committee on Ethics to preserve and publicly release records of the committee's review of violations or alleged violations of Clause 9 as it pertains to acts of sexual harassment, and Clause 18 of Rule 23, I believe that is, Roman numerals 23 of the Rules of the House of Representatives. Vote type. You can vote yay or nay. The status has been passed. All right. Votes by party. Republicans, 175 yays, 38 nays, 1 present, 4 Republicans not voting. Democratic, 182 yays, 27 nays, 0 present, 5 of them not voting. And then independents, all zeros across the board for yays, nays, present, and not voting. So you have a total of 357 yays, which are between the Republicans and Democrats who voted to keep this report concealed. So you don't know who's on that list, who's getting money, who got paid off, who got paid, who was the one who was doing harassing, which aides, which representatives were involved. That's the yay list. The nays are the people which total is 65. All right. Total is 65. And those are the people between 38 Republicans and 27 Democrats who wanted y'all to know what was going on. They wanted y'all to see this report. They wanted y'all to know who was getting paid what out of this $17 million plus of taxpayers' money that could go in your pocket. All right. And then one present, and then 9 total between the Republicans, four Republicans, 5 Democrat that not voted, or it says not voting. So I guess they didn't vote on it to be yay or nay. So I'm just going to kind of scroll down the list, and the first person of the not voting, let's see if we can. The thing that's cool about this is you can click on their name, right? And something pops up. Let me just make sure that okay, yeah, good, great. That pops up on the screen. There you go. So James Baird or Beard, maybe it's pronounced that. He was one of the not voting on that thing. But what's interesting about when you click on the person's name, you can kind of scroll down and see other information about them. You can see their recent votes, like what they voted on and stuff like that. Look at this. Look at the things you can see what they voted on or not voted on. See, these are the things that you might need to know. Let me see. Homeowner Energy Freedom Act. You voted yay. Let's go to one more page and see what's going on here. Don't Mess with My Home Appliances Act. Wow, he voted for something like that. All right. Like I said, I ain't going to be too long on this. So let me scroll. Let me go on back. All right. So that's Beard or Bayard, something like that. As I'm scrolling down, I gave y'all the QR code so you can follow along. All right, let's see who the next not voting person is. And if I see some of them high profile people, we'll take a look at them real quick too. Bonamici was the next one from Oregon, Democrat from Oregon. Let's click on Bonamici. Oh, it's a lady, Susan Bonamici. I think that's an Italian name, I think. So she didn't vote either. Her funny looking self didn't vote either. But here's some things that she either voted on, yay or nay, or did not vote on. She looks like she don't vote on a lot of on this first little list right here. Territorial Student Access to Higher Education, not voting. Tribal Trust Land Home Ownership Act, not voting. Providing consideration of the bill of what we're talking about, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Making appropriations for, okay, this is something different, for the Department of Homeland Security for the fiscal year ending September 30th of 2026 and for other purposes, not voting. Let me see the next page. The Rotor Act. I don't know what that is, but I might seem like something I need to look up. Information Quality Assurance. She voted yay. Law Enforcement Innovate to De-escalate Act. She voted no. And then you can click on these bills or whatever these things are. Forget what you call them, House Representative bills and stuff like that, or Senate bills. You can click on these things and get to reading what they are about. That's what's very interesting. So that's Susan Bonamici. All righty. It was the next one. We got next up here. Let's see. Like I said, there's a lot of Republicans and Democrats who voted on this thing. Oh, here we go. We got Crenshaw. Let's see what Crenshaw, Republican out of Texas. There you go. Dan Crenshaw. That name sounds familiar. Republican out of Texas. He didn't vote on that. Sexual harassment and misconduct. And then here's his other records on what he voted for, voted on, or didn't vote. whether you vote yay or nay or not voting at all. And then, like I said, all these numbers down here, it's all of his stuff. So you can also pick people that you want to find out what they voted on. And these are how you find out, what these people are about and whether you should be voting for them. But folks don't want to do that. They don't want to do this work. They just want to go by feelings, how they feel about the person, how the person's personality comes off. And these folks know that's what y'all do. And so there goes Fleischman, Tennessee. Yep. That name was familiar. So let me see what Fleischman. But Fleischman voted. What did he? Yeah, I remember him. Chuck. Chuck is Republican. He voted yes to cover up. Okay, Chucky Chuck. We got you, baby. He voted to keep that misconduct and sexual harassment report concealed. He's one of the Republicans. That might be one of his buddies, or it might be him that did some misconduct. I don't know. Not accusing him, but hey, why you ain't voted for transparency, Chuck? Okay, we got you. Got your number, Playboy. We got your number. Here's another one. Garcia out of Texas, a Democrat, didn't vote at all. Sylvia Garcia, a white Hispanic, a white Latino. She did a lot of not voting for some things too. But these folks y'all voting for, man, in y'all particular states. So she was a not vote, huh? It doesn't mean she has nothing to hide, but she stayed neutral on it. And maybe that's their little slick ways of getting out of it too. We got a Democrat out of Texas again. Gonzalez was a not vote. Vicente Gonzalez. Vicente Gonzalez. There we go. That was another not vote. Let's see what is his voting record on certain issues. There you go. Not a lot of not voting. He ain't voting on this. He ain't voting on that. He put nay for the Homeowner Energy Freedom Act. Interesting. Like I said, you can click on these things and read further about what these things are if you want to know, like, okay, he voted no. What was this? What he voted no on? What's this bill or the committee information? All right. Vicente Gonzalez. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. We coming up on the HIJ alphabet of last names. We got a Democrat out of Illinois not voting. That's Jackson. Let me see who this is. Jonathan Jackson. His face looks familiar. The name don't ring a bell too tough, other than there's always somebody with a name Jackson, but his face looks familiar. So he was another person that did not vote yay or nay on that sexual misconduct report. Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act, not voting on that. Directing the Committee on Ethics to preserve and publicly release records of the committees. Okay, yeah, okay. This is the one here. This is the one we're talking about here that he didn't vote on, the sexual harassment. All right. So yeah, so you get to see what each person voted on different issues. So that's Jackson, Jonathan Jackson. All right. And you know who voted yay? Just give me a second, y'all. All right, I'm back. My dog had to let me know he wanted some water. All right, so I believe this is Hakeem Jeffries. Yep. Hakeem Herman Monster Jeffries. And of course, he voted to keep the files concealed. Is he one of the people that's been doing the sexual misconduct? Is it some of his colleagues that are part of that? And so he wanted to protect his colleagues. Remember what I put up earlier, what you've seen on the presentation, colleagues over constituents, right? Is he part of the colleagues over the constituents crew? Okay. So that's Jeffries. Let's see what else found here real quick. Let's go a little faster. Not put present. I don't know what present means because that's their vote that they were there. I'm taking it as this person named Knott. Let's click on this person. Brad Knott, North Carolina, Republican. He was present. It says present. So I'm assuming that means you were present at this voting about the sexual harassment, sexual misconduct report, and you didn't vote yay or nay. You just said you were present, you were there, so you was aware of what's going on, but you chose not to do yay or nay. That's still suspect. That's still suspect. Brad Knott. We all know the nays. I already read all the nay names, so we're not going to focus on the nays. Okay. So again, you guys can come, you guys that are scanning, and of course, like I say, you can go back and watch this again and scan the QR code, and it'll take you to this whole list here and what everybody did and didn't do. All right. I'm just kind of scrolling down really fast now to the non-voters, which is another one here. There's a Republican, Robert Onder. He voted, he was a no voting, not voting. He wasn't going to vote on this. And this is how some of these people get away with saying, "Oh, I didn't vote for that." So this is what I think is going on with the not voting and the person that Brad Knott, who was present. If somebody jumps on their case, I just seen AOC, so we're gonna click her name in a second. For those who had the not voting, like this guy right here, I think it was 9 of them total between Republicans and Democrats. These people like him that was the not voting, this is so if anybody or any of these persons' constituents or people in the public walk up to them and they'll say, "Well, yeah, I heard that there was a lot of you guys who voted to keep this sexual misconduct report concealed." And then he can say, "Well, I didn't he said, "I didn't vote yes for that." And if he can get away with it and people just keep him to that part, he can go, like, maybe some people are mad because they want to know what's going on in this report. They want to know how much money is being paid off to people who have cases. They want to know which one of these Congress people were involved in sexual misconduct. And so they might think that he might have been one of the people that voted, but by him not voting, he can just say, "Oh, well, no, I didn't vote for that." And he can word and phrase it in such a way to make people think and believe that he was on the other side, like, "Hey, I wanted y'all to really know about this." But the truth was he didn't even vote for that either. He didn't vote nay. So he didn't vote yay or nay. So that's how some of these folks try to get slick with you for these people who represent you. He could just say, "Well, nah," to some that thinking he was down for keeping it secret and covered up and concealed, he could say, "Oh, no, I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote yes for that." But if you don't ask him or you don't know any better to ask him, "Well, did you go against it?" You might want to ask him that as well. Were you for it or against it? And he might try to slick his way. But if he kinds to try to pull these games, you can come to this website and say, well, we see that you didn't vote one way or the other. Why is that? And you can ask all of those who did the not vote. See, I said I was going to go to AOC. You know, she voted to conceal the report. I don't know, was she involved in misconduct? Was misconduct happening to her? Was any of her aides involved? Because you remember it did mention these members and their aides. So was any of her aides part of this that did some misconduct? And so she's trying to keep them protected because some of them aides might be her buddies. Right? And that goes for the rest of them who voted to keep it hidden in secret, right? Okay. Makes you say, boom, okay. And so let me see. That's that. Let me see if there's any more not voters. Same thing for Hakeem Jeffries. He might have some aides that was out here being a little freaky and then doing some misconduct. Or they might have aides, might have the cases against one of them. We don't know. Here's Smith, Democrat from Washington. That's another not vote. He can try to slide his way out of or slick his way out of saying, well, I didn't vote. I didn't agree to that. I didn't agree for them to keep it a secret. But you also didn't agree to make it be revealed either, because you was not voting on that. Right? So you see how they can get slick? That was another not voting. We skip Ayanna Presley and Nancy Pelosi. Let's see. We go back real quick. There goes Presley. She voted to keep it secret. Who is she protecting? Colleagues over constituents. Who is she protecting? And then, of course, like I said, you can look at her other records on what she voted on, yes or no, or didn't vote at all. Let's go to number 10 real quick. Let's see what's on that list. Speed Act, Mining Regulatory Act. She voted nay. Mining Regulatory well, how does she vote yay and then nay on the same thing? That's weird. Pet and Livestock Protection Act. She voted yes for the Pet and Livestock Protection Act. Right? So you get to see what they voted on. That's what's so cool about this stuff. Okay. So we had that. Where's Pelosi at? There we go. There goes Pelosi. She voted to keep. Who is she protecting? Which aides she protecting? Or was she one of the ones who was doing misconduct? Maybe she a little freak. Maybe she's a little freak herself, harassing people, sexually misconduct on folks. Maybe. I ain't saying she did. Or she's protecting one of her buddies, whether that buddy is an aide or another member. Right? It's the people we've been having in office. They get to have all the benefits, and they want us to be transparent about everything. This is how they roll. We did Smith already from Washington, one of the not voters. There goes Tlaib, one of the high-profile people. Rashida, she voted to keep it a secret. Who is she protecting? She looks Indian. Rashida Tlaib. Who is she protecting? Which one of her constituents? No, her colleagues is she protecting? Was she the one who was being harassed and had sexual misconduct done to her? And she don't want that. Maybe she don't want that to be known, or any of them. Maybe some of them were the victims of it, and they don't want you to know. They rather keep it quiet, collect a little money from the 17 million plus of our money, our tax-paying money. This is what we got to pay for, right? Here's another one, Valadao, David Valadao. He's another one that's a not voting. So if someone confronts him, he can say, oh, no, I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote to keep it a secret. But did you vote to have it revealed and be transparent? Yeah, you need to confront these folks. There you go. So there it is. All right. One more thing I want to show you guys, and then we're going to get out of here. So when you click on this, all right, because this is what everybody was voting on, it takes you to, I'm going to pull up that page now. It should pull up now. There it is. Yep. That's congress.gov. Okay. And House Resolution 1100, I think that's what that HRES stands for. Directing the Committee on Ethics to preserve and publicly release records. Preserve and publicly release records on the committee's review of violations or alleged violations of Clause 9 as it pertains to acts of sexual harassment, and Clause 18 of Rule 23 of the Rules of the House of Representatives. So they going around sexually harassing each other. The majority of them is keeping quiet, and just a handful of them is saying, no, we want this to be revealed. We want this report to be publicly released. But I think they passed it to keep it quiet. And so why are y'all keeping this quiet? You don't want the people to know how much money people got from these cases. You don't want to know who's friends. Also, there's supposed to be Jasmine Crockett on here too. Matter of fact, let's look her name up. I done skipped her name altogether. Okay. There she go. Let me see. I think let me share this back again. All right. So there's Crockett, Texas. She voted to keep those reports quiet. She wanted to keep the misconduct, the sexual misconduct. I don't know. Was she a victim of this? And someone said, well, hey, don't just vote no. So vote to not reveal this, and I'll make sure you get some of that 17 million. Was she a victim? Or did she have friends who was doing this freaky stuff, sexually harassing and committing sexual misconduct on others? One of her colleagues committing this on their aides or someone else's aides, AIDS. And so she wanted to protect them because it's colleagues over constituents. Remember that, right? It's colleagues over constituents. Okay. So, yeah. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. While you got these military actions going on and a lot of the other nonsense going on, right? I see once again my face. Let me see. No, we here. There we go. Let me move the glasses. There you go. Got the intelligent look right now. So once again, while all of this military action is going on in Iran and other places, and while the T.I. versus 50 Cent and T.I.'s family versus 50 Cent going on, this is what's been going on behind your back. This is what's been kept quiet. They voted and passed to have those files, those misconduct reports sealed, so you don't find out how much they paid off in each individual case, who got paid off, was it an aide, was it a representative, a Congress member. That money could be in your pocket, or that money can go to reparations, or that money can go to something constructive. But that's what's been going on behind all of our back. And we're going to stay on their neck and keep on exposing things. Just like Cat Williams said, all lies will be exposed. And now in 2026, it's going down like that. All right. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I appreciate y'all as always. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, man. And also be sure to hit that notification bell so you know when we on. All right. Make sure you do that. Can't forget to do that. Okay. And yeah, we're just gonna keep trying to hit you with another one, man. You know what I'm saying? And let me put this on the screen as well. If you guys wanted a copy of that slide deck that I showed, let me put it on the screen again. If y'all want a copy of this right here. All right, this is where it starts at. If y'all want a copy of that, here is the QR code. Scan that right there. You can get a copy of that. You can share it with others. You could do your video. You could do a video on it as well. All right. It's a PDF slide deck. If you're using StreamYard, you already know you'll know how to load it up. So yeah, there you go. Scan that QR code, man, and then you can get a copy of that. All right, I put that together. So feel free to use that. Hit the QR code and you can download it instantly. All right. There it is. There it is. And so, yeah, again, we appreciate y'all, man. And we'll be back with another one. All right. I want my homegirl Shanice to tell y'all what's up, man.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of the Thoughts of the Week podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure you tune in next time. We've got more real talk, more insight, and more power moves coming your way. Until next time, stay sharp. We'll see you soon.
And with that being said, you're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. I'm gone, baby. Peace. One love, y'all.